everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Strike Noise, your mom's favorite baseball history humorous podcast. I say that facetiously. My name is Jeff. I'm one half of the show. As always, hopefully staying dry. I think our studio is equipped for flotation, but up at the Lee Guterman studio, it's Mark A. Johnston.
Wow, yeah, Lee. Good thing for Lee is he's watertight. The studio is.
He sounds like a rubber boot manufacturer,
yeah.
Guterman. Yeah.
There you go. And the water is up past my window here in the studio, so it's pretty wet in the lovely confines of the Pacific Northwest, as you may have seen on your television set or on the interwebs.
That's why I asked. Yeah, I want to make sure. We just start this. We don't talk beforehand. So literally, this is the first time I've ever talked to Mark.
We never speak.
No. Ever. This is it.
We feel like it would taint the show.
All right. Yeah, Mark, it is, what is this? This is episode 307. As always, we're going to start with a little BP, get us warmed up. And speaking of the Mariners, Mark, I saw this on social media, on Reddit. Hawkeye Josh 2 is who we have to thank for this. The Mariners account for over 36% of all innings ever pitched by guys named Erik.
Wow. See, now that one, I really had no idea. That's impressive.
So he does specify Erik spelled E-R-I-K. So not Erik like Eric Davis or any other forms of Erik, but Erik like Erik Bedard or Erik Hansen. Those are the two that came to mind first of all for me.
Yeah.
But he does have a list here of them. So we've got Erik Bedard, we got Eric Bennett, Eric Cordier, I don't know. There is an Eric Davis with a K. I don't remember him. Do you?
Yeah, me neither.
Eric Goodell, Eric Hansen, Hilgis. I remember him. He was an A's pitcher for a while. There's a Johnson, Kratz, Miller, Plattenberg, Sable, Ulstrom, Swanson. They have combined for 3,884 and 2/3 big league innings.
It's incredible. What a bizarre stat. I love it. How stats just over the last decade or so have gone from being stats to being unbelievable. Just incredible ways to ratchet down interesting things such as guys named Erik.
Remember back in the day, it was kind of a joke. Oh, you baseball stats are so crazy. Like you could, what did you do on road games on a Wednesday? And that like blew people's minds. We're going to move on and continue with this. Erik Hansen is the leader in the clubhouse. He almost has 1,000 innings pitched.
Wow.
Erik Bedard and then Swanson and then the rest of them. There's not many, but wow. I remember
those three.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned them. Those are the only three I remembered, except for Hilgis, but he didn't pitch enough to make a dent in that list. But there you go. There's your Erik-based pitching trivia for today. Another.
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying very nice.
When I say the last name Agassi, who comes to mind? Name me two Agassi.
Probably a tennis player.
Yeah, Andre Agassi, married to Steffi Graf. Like, just two of the like biggest 80s and 90s tennis players. They were huge. Son, Jaden Agassi, pitched for Germany in the World Baseball Classic qualifiers this year.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know he was a pitcher. I didn't know he was a baseball. I would have assumed that he was clearly a bocce player.
I thought he was a highlight guy.
Yeah. Do you love me some highlight? I don't know why. I've been watching it every weekend. It fascinates me. It's boring.
It's a bizarro sport, man.
It is. It's boring too, but I still watch it. I don't know.
No, what is it about that?
I'm just fascinated that anybody would watch it, and I'm like, there's got to be something I'm missing, but no, there's not. So Jaden, it didn't go well for Jaden in the qualifiers. He went in 2 games. He went 0-1. Only pitched 2 1/3 innings. Gave up 6 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned. Struck out 2, walked 3. For a whip of 3.86.
Ooh, that's a tolerable ERA, but not a whip.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm like, why is the ERA over here? And then I'm like, oh, that's whip. Batters were batting .500 against him, and his ERA was 23.14.
Wow, giving up 500 batting average, that's not easy. You really got to be laying him in there.
He must really suck at tennis.
I guess so. If he's chosen baseball.
If this is his chosen path, He must really suck at tennis. Yeah. All right.
Yes, Germany will have to work on him. I heard his mom's German. That's just a rumor.
Yeah. Steffi Graf. I guess so. Yeah. Always thought that she was like Chilean
Australian?
or something.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Also, let's talk about the Hanshin Tigers for a minute, or maybe a little bit more. Pitcher Atsuki Yuasa announced that he's going to be wearing a unique glove next season. It is going to be based on a J-pop group called Fruits Zipper. I almost said Fruit Zippers because that makes more sense, but no, this is Fruits Zipper.
Fruits Zipper.
And so this group is a group of 7 J-pop artists. They're all female. You can guess their ages. And they all wear solid pastel color outfits. Each one's a different color. It's like maybe a little bit more mature Teletubbies kind of thing, right? Not really Teletubbies. They were each different colors. That's what I'm getting at. So this glove that he designed himself is going to have all of their colors on his glove going up the fingers.
Wow.
It's
Fancy.
manufactured by the glove manufacturer Xanax, which we'll get to that in a minute. Because
The glove mellows them out.
there's a lot going on in this story. So the glove, like I said, it's going to be all these 7 different colors, which it looks, there's a picture of it here with a drawing of it. It looks like something that like the current administration would probably deem as too DEI. That's what it looks like. But he designed it after a J-pop group that I'm assuming he's a fan of is a unique
You
thing.
would think.
Okay, so Mark, imagine John Rocker, okay, on the mound with a Spice Girls inspired glove. First of all, we know it would be a Leonard Skinner glove or something like that, but I think that would have been a great punishment. Instead of suspending him for his comments about the New York subway, they should have made him use a Spice Girls glove. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
And
that's something to put forward for future.
if I was
possibilities.
commissioner, there would be no suspensions. You're just going to have to do something that is embarrassing on the field.
Just humiliations.
Yes,
Yeah.
humiliations. That's what we're going to do. But I do want to know more about this glove manufacturer Xanax because it sounds like it's right up my alley, and I do need a new glove.
Maybe it does. Wearing it will calm your nerves. I mean, you never know.
I'm so confident in my fielding ability with this glove that it just
That's right.
wake me up.
I
if
just
somebody
made an
hits something.
error, but I'm not all that upset about it.
Boy, if they're not using this in their marketing, I don't know what they're doing.
I'm kidding. Very impressive. Speaking of trivia, we have a listener, Rich, who wrote into us, who you are, Rich, with a pretty darn good trivia question. We batted it around and we kind of struggled with it. And we had to actually go back to the source and get the answer. So, Rich, here you go, man. We appreciate you sending in this awesome trivia question.
Now, don't tell it. Don't say the question.
Okay. So ready, folks? Send in your
No.
answers. Okay. What is the only team in MLB history with 5 200-win pitchers on its pitching staff? They didn't all have 200 wins at the time that they played together, but eventually did by the end of their careers. So you're looking for 5 guys who won 200 games that were all on the same pitching staff.
At one point. So they might have
one
all
point,
been on the same pitching staff for half a season, but that counts.
Yes, there were 5 guys at some point that were all on the same pitching staff, and each of them ended their career with over 200 wins.
All right. Let us have it. You probably
That's a
know how to
tough
get a
one.
hold of us. We'll tell you at the end of the show as well. But that's a great question. I think we each took 5 or 6 guesses apiece
Yeah,
unsuccessfully.
I said it was the 77 Mariners. I was wrong.
Yeah. Who did I guess? Obviously the Braves was the first guess. Glavine and Maddox and Smoltz and Avery and whoever else was. But that is not the answer.
So don't guess that one, folks.
Yeah, I won't give you any more that you might think, oh, that's an easy one. Just try it. It's hard. It was a great question, Rich. Those are the kind we like. And we could tell them the time frame because we were given the time frame as well.
That's true. We could, but I'm not going to.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, we are not nice today. We do appreciate our listeners.
There's something wrong today. I don't know what it is, but anyways, apologies. But it's good for you to think about and talk about and batter around and see if you can come up with something. It would be impressive if you can come up.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you need a hint, if you need that time frame, contact us. Again,
Yeah.
you know how, and we'll give you that hint. So how about
There you
that?
go.
All right. Let's let the grounds crew come out finish. This is likely going to be our last pod of the season. So the grounds crew is in tuxedos. They will do the YMCA at some point.
Yeah, you know how much I
innings.
love the grounds crew dance.
Yes, I know. They're just fantastic. I love them too. As much as the grounds crew does. But let's get into the main part of the show. This is another one of those topics that I was unaware of. I'd heard the name, but didn't know that there was a prime Two Strike Noise story waiting behind him until I was told so when his name came up on one of my streams a couple of weeks ago. We're going to talk today about Ross Grimsley. All right. In the 1970s, baseball was kind of fighting a culture war. Hair versus square is what I've heard before, and I really like that, so we're going to use it. On one side, you had the high and tight haircuts, clean cut establishment led by people in baseball like Sparky Anderson, who just happened to be the manager of the Big Red Machine in Cincinnati. And then, of course, you know their foil, the Rebels from the Bay, the Swingin' A's, the team that was encouraged to actually grow facial hair for cash. Ross Grimsley was the perfect anti-establishment package. He had long, unwashed hair. One of his many nicknames was Scuz, and he had piercing turquoise eyes, courtesy of contact lenses that he liked to wear that earned him one of his other nicknames, Crazy Eyes. He sounds like he would be perfect for one of the A's teams, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Scuz. But unfortunately for Scuz, he played in the Natties. He had the look and the attitude of Ricky Vaughn. He looked like he was ready to throw 100-mile-per-hour heat, like his hair was on fire. But this is where our story is going to be interesting because the wild thing, Ross Grimsley, wasn't throwing gas, probably wouldn't even qualify as lighter fluid. He was winning games with a 42-mile-per-hour changeup and a bag of other off-speed junk. He called them tricks. Guys like Billy Martin called it hiding Vaseline in his hair. Tomato, tomato. Grimsley was the ultimate baseball rebel, a man with the look of the Wild Thing, but the pitching repertoire of Eddie Harris. So this is the story of how the man the Reds traded because of his hair became the one and the only 20-game winner in Expos history. Ross Grimsley was a first-round draft pick. Remember that for grid when you get that. And a young lefty with a good arm. He walked into the bigs and immediately started pushing. He'd go 37-25 in his first 3 seasons as a Red, 18 complete games, 5 shutouts, an ERA of 3.26. 1972, he went 14-8. And in the 72 World Series, he went 2-1, proving he could deliver on the biggest stages as the A's beat the Reds. I imagine in the World Series, it looked like that Spider-Man meme for Grimsley. He was pointing to the guys who looked like him, and the rest of the A's are pointing back at him. You know what that's. For 3 seasons, the man got it done. Lefty starter on one of the best teams in the game. But Grimsley wasn't so good at one thing for sure. That's following a strict dress code that the Reds had in place. His hair, like I said, was long. His face was getting, shall we say, au naturel a lot. And I mentioned he was a left-handed pitcher. So, you know, he's a little off just from the jump. But during a rough patch in his rookie season, a local reporter introduced him to a witch.
Okay.
Real witch. They exist. As this is things that local reporters generally do, if you ask, I guess. He's like, hey, I know a local witch. You want to meet him? All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Her, them, I don't know what their pronouns are. Today, a pitcher in this situation might get a sports psychologist, but Grimsley, he got a greenish blue lucky stone. So, you know darn well that charm worked. He won 4 straight games. The stone clearly worked out and was definitely magical, 100%. So, of course, what does Grimsley do? He loses it. Then he lost his next 2 starts. So Ross gets on the horn, calls the witch up. Hey, you got any more of them lucky stones? Sure, come on over. All right. So he gets another one, getting ready for his next game. He doesn't know where he put this replacement stone. So Ross immediately loses the replacement. What kind of drugs do you have to be on to have a lucky stone from a 100% real witch that gives you real magical powers? Lose it, get a replacement, and before you can even use that replacement, you lose that one.
Man, that's rough.
That is rough. No worries, though. He can just call the witch back up and get a third lucky stone, right?
Right.
No, because he lost the witch's phone number.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what's going on in Cincinnati at this time, but there was no Google, so he couldn't just Google witch Cincinnati.
Right.
He could have looked up witches, I suppose, in the yellow pages, but Ross ain't doing that. That's not the way he rolls. It did occur to me. This is happening in Cincinnati. Was there no one at WKRP who could help him out?
Apparently not. You would think so, though.
It seems like a Johnny Fever Venus flytrap, like a plot in an episode, having them trying to track down a witch. Or Les Nessman could have been looking for that Buckeye Newshawk Award. Another one could have.
Yes.
Could have probably tracked down the witch. I'm sorry, I was sidetracked by WKRP. So Sparky Anderson calls him into his office one day, and Ross is thinking, all right, what is this? My ERA's a little high. What is it? But no, Sparky warns Ross that because of all this witchcraft stuff, he said, quote, "You'll be known as the clown of the league once this gets out. You're crazy," end quote. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is water off a duck's back to Ross. He doesn't care.
Sure, exactly.
He tells the Sporting News, quote, "If I think it'll help me win, why shouldn't I keep in touch with the witch? Well, except for you lost the number. I don't."
Except for that, yeah.
So the Reds could tolerate 37 wins from a young left-handed pitcher over 3 seasons, but the long hair and the lucky charm, that's too much for him. He's got to go. Sparky Anderson, after the 73 season, personally requests that they trade Ross Grimsley. So they do. They traded him to Baltimore for backup outfielder Merv Retman, a backup outfielder for a great left-handed starting young pitcher. Okay. So the Squares kick him out for being too weird. Effective, but too weird. Like effectively weird is what I've come up with. So This is the best thing that could have happened to Crazy Eyes, right? He lands You would think, yeah. So Grimsley, but you'd be right, because Grimsley lands in Baltimore and it's like Bastille Day for his hair follicles. He goes from the Big Red Machine to the Baltimore Orioles, where they operate under the motto of long hair, don't care. No longer restrained by the Reds' draconian rules, his hair gets longer, it gets shaggier, his eyes get turquoisier. Is that a word?
It is now.
More turquoise. Grimsley had naturally green eyes, but these contact lenses made him look a little like Dune, but green instead of blue, if you know what I'm talking about. As I mentioned earlier, this earned him the nickname Crazy Eyes, which until then had been reserved for only people whose eyes went different directions when they tried to look straight ahead, like Steve Buscemi, Crazy Eyes.
Yes.
But now it's got a new meaning. I told you his other nickname was Scuz. After all, as I said, left-handed pitcher, so he had his fair share of superstitions, as you might guess. He would not shower or wash his hair during a winning streak. That gave him the unkept look that became his brand, which kind of fits with the nickname Scuz. His hair, they said, contained enough greasy kid stuff that if there was a squeaky door in the clubhouse, he could just run his hand through his hair and then touch the door hinge, and it'd be fixed. His first year with the Birds in 1974, he proves that the new look works for him. He goes 18-13 with the Orioles. The Squares of the league hated being made stupid for not wanting this guy on their roster because of his hair. Because with Grimsley winning with soft tossing junk while looking like he was fronting Slade before Quiet Riot stole all of their music. Get it? My favorite band, Quiet Riot. I can still dump on him. The Squares were looking for a reason to call him a cheat. And in 1977, they got their shot. Yankees manager Billy Martin, shocker, who had been known to accuse players, whether they were on his team or not, of doing things he didn't like, accused Grimsley of throwing a spitball. Martin had no proof, but he had a theory. He speculated that Grimsley had used the greasy appearance of his famously unkempt hair to hide Vaseline or some other foreign substance to doctor the baseball. So he looked like Rick Vaughn, but again was using Eddie Harris tactics and winning. So the establishment had labeled him a cheater, a greasy clown is what one person called him, and a general menace to the sanctity of baseball. Meanwhile, the league itself, like society, was descending into cultural chaos. Grimsley's story is playing out at the peak of this, as I said earlier. The summer of 1979 saw the literal explosion of that hair versus square conflict. That was when Disco Demolition Night occurred. We've covered that in a previous episode. But while the world was going crazy, Grimsley found a different kind of discipline when he signed with Montreal as a free agent. He's now pitching in the Great White North, like a huge contract for a pitcher at that point. Nobody could ever prove he was cheating. He used an exaggerated herky-jerky kind of windup, and he had a specialty pitch. The slow pitch is what he called it. He was a master of deception. He'd throw his famous changeup at 3 different speeds. He said slow, slower, and clock it with a sundial slow. Allegedly, one of his pitches was clocked at 42 miles per hour.
What?
I don't believe that. I throw about that. Actually, last time I did a speed pitch thing, I threw it over 50. And I don't think you can throw it 42 miles per hour and get it 60 feet, 6 inches.
That was my thinking. Can you get it to the plate at that speed?
I mean, this is in the 70s, so the technology not that great, but
the Earth was spinning on a different axis.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Now, so he didn't try to scare you with this velocity. He was trying to trick you with his lack of it, essentially. He used that Bugs Bunny pitch that was so slow that the batter would swing 3 times on one pitch to strike out.
Yes.
Except for he didn't strike a lot of it. It was induce weak contact. We'll say that.
That was the goal.
Yeah. 1978, Ross Grimsley goes 20-11 for the Montreal Expos, becoming the first and only 20-game winner in the history of Montreal.
Wow.
Once they moved to D.C., Gio Gonzalez did it in 2012, and then Max Scherzer did as well. That season, Grimsley pitched over 263 innings, struck out only 84 batters.
Wow.
So you can see he's not striking out a lot. He's just inducing weak contact. He became he is still the last National League pitcher to win 20 games while striking out fewer than 100 batters. Now, the only thing more unpredictable than Ross Grimsley on the field was Ross Grimsley off the field. His 1978 season was full of complete game masterpieces. The Scuz was the ace of the Expos staff, proving that the hair could beat the square more often than not, even with a pitch that topped out at my personal fantasy camp upper range. He earned that 20th win, though, on the final day of the season. He threw a complete game and got a single to load the bases, kickstarting the winning rally in the 9th inning.
Wow.
He was the entire show that day in front of the 6,100 hardy souls at Busch Stadium that came out to watch. Final day of the season, trying to get that 20th win. And he's obviously, the last day of the season is why a pitcher would still be in a tie ball game in the 9th inning with 2 out and nobody on. But he got the job done, and then he came and finished it out in the 9th for his 20th win. His strange, chaotic energy didn't stop on the field, though. Unpredictable nature occasionally resulted in some real-world consequences. This is a very famous case that actually holds a place in legal history now. September 16, 1975, he was warming up in the Orioles bullpen at Fenway Park, and some Red Sox fans, as they tend to do, got under his skin, and he reportedly fired a baseball towards them in the stands. It hit an innocent spectator who sued him and the Orioles organization. The case Manning versus Grimsley is now cited in law casebooks to illustrate the scope of employment law. I don't know what it means, but it's famous, I guess. Ross Grimsley is literally in the history books as the perfect example of a disgruntled employee who cost his employer a lawsuit by doing something that he showed he didn't care. Sparky Anderson was probably lighting up that pipe of his on the Supreme Court steps when that came out, I'm guessing. He was right all along, that Sparky. Even as his playing days dwindled down, still had that trickster energy. 1980 season, Ross was playing for Cleveland. Not playing well, but he was playing. And a sports writer there, Terry Pluto, published something negative about Grimsley and how he was struggling. I don't know what it was, but it was enough to get Scuz worked up that he decided he needed revenge against this sports writer. So he fabricated an entire story, a very detailed story about owning an armadillo farm with over 300 armadillos.
Now, you mentioned he was disgruntled at his job. Was he gruntled about the armadillo farm?
He was very gruntled,
Okay.
Loved these things. Ross gave Pluto extensive notes, dissertations, lectures on armadillos, their habits, their characteristics, even their breeding habits. And to be honest, knowing what we know about Grimsley's makeup, left-handed pitcher, this does not sound implausible that somebody would have a 300 armadillo farm.
Yeah. I mean, you.
We have a current pitcher telling us that he wasn't throwing pitches for gamblers. He was talking about cockfighting and expect us to believe that.
That's right, yes.
So if one person could have had an armadillo farm, Scuz is near the top of that list. So Pluto ran the story as fact and obviously ended up with egg on his face. And revenge was served cold that day for Ross Grimsley.
Wow.
So his journey came to a close in 1982. He signed back with the Baltimore Orioles. And this is awesome because this connected him with a guy that we've talked about. And they had a bromance, as you can imagine. Ross Grimsley and Don Fullpack Stanhouse. Stan the Man gosh. Unusual.
There's a combo.
Oh, if Jay Johnstone could have been on this team as well. I mean, wow. Well, now, we all know from our Don Stanhouse episode that he was the epitome of a neurotic closer and was equally as odd off the field driving around in that sweet-ass black van. It's just, and for one season, that final season for both of them, both of their careers, the bullpen was home to Scuz and Fullpack, two of the most unique, rebellious, closing, just incredible two-strike noise-esque souls closing out their careers together with undoubtedly the most hairspray and aqua velva used in any clubhouse that year. Maybe ever. I don't know. We'll have to get to the people that were monitoring the urinals to see if they can tell us.
Yeah, aqua velva, though. You're right there.
The final irony, though, that despite his unwashed hair, the contacts, the issues with his manager, the accusations, the man was told he was too crazy for the Big Red Machine. He went on to have a long and respected, not just career, but a post-playing career as a minor league pitching coach for several organizations. Underneath Scuz, there was a disciplined pro who knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he didn't have the arm to throw 100 miles per hour, so he knew how to deliver a pitch, even if it was at only 42 miles per hour. He went from the Big Red Machine's disgrace to the Expos' shining star. Ross Scuz Grimsley, let him forever be a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful baseball records are set by the least hygienic human beings.
There you have it. That's beautiful.
Ross Grimsley, ladies and gentlemen.
Very interesting.
He was, and I didn't know anything about all of that stuff until somebody told me on one of our streams. So
that's what they're all about.
Thank you, whoever it was. All right, Mark, with that being said, let's exit this segment and head to the final segment of the show, the segment that we have called for quite some time and will continue to call Wax Pack Heroes. Wax Pack Hero! Gotta pull a Wax Pack Hero! Got stars in his eyes. On a podcast tonight.
Hello again, friends. It's time for another installment of Wax Pack's Heroes. Before we can start, though, let's go over the rules. Mark and Jeff are going to play an old-fashioned game of war, except this is more like baseball reference war. They'll each get one card and will score the baseball reference war of the year of the card. But wait! They can add or subtract points depending on certain aspects of the card and the player's season. Any 80s baseball aesthetics the card displays will earn an extra 1/10 of a point. Or if they don't like something, like 2-in-1 stirrups, they can subtract a 1/10 of a point as well. Also, if the player won any awards that season, they get a 1/2 a point for each. If the player led the league in any categories, they'll get a 1/10 of a point for each positive category, but minus 1/2 a point for each negative one. If there's a Hall of Famer anywhere on the card, that's a whole extra point. If the player had a Costacos Brothers poster made of them, they get a 1/2 a point for that. If Ricky Henderson or Nolan Ryan get pulled, the round is over. Jeff automatically wins if either pulls a Ricky card, and Mark wins if Nolan is pulled. If the player has any pop culture references, they get a 1/2 a point, unless they appeared on Seinfeld, The Simpsons, or Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That, friends, is a whole point for each. If the player was suspended for off-the-field mischief during their career or are on the 2SN, don't talk about list, that's a minus a 1/2 and a whole point respectively. So with that out of the way, it's time to play Wax Pack Heroes.
All right, Mark. Looking at the scoreboard, it is 5-4. I'm up by 1, just hanging on early in the season here. And we're going to play a little Wax Packs Heroes. I don't have a year in mind to open this week. What year would you like to go with?
Oh, boy, what's something we haven't done for a while? I'm trying to come up with.
I don't think we've done anything from the 2000s. I don't think we've done anything for a while. We're usually in the late 80s.
Yeah, that's
90s.
a good idea. Let's do something like that.
How about 2002?
That sounds good.
I don't know why, but let's try 2000.
Why not?
All right, so let's start this with our 2002 tops. I'm going to have you go first because that's the way we do it here.
Right.
And your first card is none other than Brad Fulmer, 2002 Anaheim Angels. I think they went to the World Series that year. Brad Fulmer, 8 years in the big leagues, 3 in Montreal, 2 in Toronto, 2 in Anaheim, and 1 in Texas. In 2002 with the Angels, his first year with the Angels, his career year, actually, WAR-wise. Hit 289, 357 on base, 531 slug for a 133 OPS plus, 19 homers, 59 ribs, 10 stolen bases, career high for a big man. He's 6'1", 185. I thought he was bigger than that, but that's a 2.9 WAR.
That's not bad.
I think I would take that any day of the week. I forgot to look at the picture. This picture is of him in a Blue Jays jersey. He has a traded card later, but we're going with what we got here in front of us. I don't see anything here that's going to help you. It's a cold day in, it's like Shea Stadium. Yeah, old Shea Stadium. I see wood paneling on the wall behind in the dugout. Can only be one thing. All right. Let's see. Didn't lead the league in anything that year. Was traded for Lee Stevens, who I often get confused with Brad Fulmer, so that doesn't help me.
It's pretty funny, though.
They are absolutely the same person to me. I don't know why. I don't see anything, shockingly enough, that is pop culture related. But, I mean, that's not bad, a 2.9 for Brad Fulmer. A good way to start. All right, Brad Fulmer will be going up against Todd Pratt.
Todd Pratt.
Remember him from the Mets, probably more than anything. Let's see. Todd Pratt is pictured with the Phillies here, though, as spring training. And, is that his? I can't tell if that. Ooh, it looks like his jersey number on his sweatbands, but it's too hard to see. I can't, in good faith, say.
So close.
Yeah, I can't say that's it. So nothing there. Let's see. Todd Pratt, 14 years in the big leagues, 8 with the Phillies, 5 with the Mets, and then Atlanta and the Cubs for parts of seasons. In 2002 for the Phillies, hit 311, 449 on base. Wow. 500 slug. This is in only 39 games, so gotta take it with a grain of salt. A 157 OPS plus, 3 home runs, 16 RBI, a 1.3 WAR, which is really good, but unfortunately, so was Brad Fulmer's. Todd Pratt was never traded. Oh, only once. Traded to the Phillies from the Mets for Gary Bennett. Beyond that, he was released and signed a lot of times.
Interesting. One thing I picked up here, Jeff, is when you look at Todd Pratt, you probably don't think, oh, I guarantee we're going to have some pop culture references. But you would be wrong.
Okay.
Todd Pratt appeared in the movie Taking Out the Trash, which I don't know what it is, but sounds like something I would have been in. But he was also a notable player of the online video game Ultima Online and appeared on the box of Ultima Online Renaissance.
We've talked about that before. I think we had to have had him before, and we've talked about that. But is this Taking Out the Trash movie? Is this new? Because I don't remember that. I remember the Ultima Online, but I don't remember the Taking Out the Trash.
I don't know if it's new or not. I just found the reference to it.
Is he still a working actor?
As you know, by your friendship with me, that doesn't mean a whole lot. A working actor doesn't mean you're working. But
yeah, but I mean, is he still getting gigs?
That's
every now
question.
And then?
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, that's still not going to help me. That'll only put me up to a 1.8.
If anybody knows Todd Pratt, have him let us know if he's still a working actor. All right.
Or have his agent contact us.
Yes, with sponsors.
Well, I guess he's got an agent, but his acting agent. That's what we want. Because I can tell you, the last known sports agent was himself. Peter Graz was previous agent, but it says agents himself.
Taking Out the Trash, Jeff, was in 2009.
Oh, okay.
And I was not in it.
What's the synopsis on that bad boy?
Let's take a look here.
How many stars?
Let me see. It doesn't have any ratings yet.
Let's give it time. It's only been 15 years.
Yeah,
you got to let it find its audience.
It says the trashiest family in the South's largest trailer park gets rich when Bud Widger, like Chris Widger, hits the lottery. I'm not going to call it the name of the lottery, but for $300 million. But soon after, the family finds they can't shake their trashy trailer park roots.
Sounds fantastic. Now, that is funny that you said Chris Widger, because if you look on Todd Pratt's similarity scores, listed number 2, Chris Widger.
Wow, we keep coming up with some weird stuff.
That is Bill Hasselman is on this list, too, if we're going through famous Mariners catchers.
Wow.
All right. So that was Todd Pratt and Taking Out the Trash. It sounds like a great one to watch over Christmas with the family. Maybe on Christmas Eve.
I'm sure, yeah.
Good. All right. Your next card is Orlando Hernandez. Not El Duque. It's El Duque.
Yes.
Let's see here. This card, he's got those socks pulled all the way up. I mean, his shoes aren't covered. He's got them up to his knees, but nothing on this card is going to help you out. El Duque, overall 9 years in the big league, 6 with the Yankees, 2 with the Mets, and then the White Sox and the D-backs. Let's see, in 2002, the Yankees went 8-5 with a 3.64 ERA, only 146 innings in 24 games, 131 hits, 113 strikeouts for a 1.22 ERA plus, and a WAR of 3.7. Wow, that's, that is huge. He was a really good pitcher for the Yankees.
He was.
And then awful for everyone else. Wow.
Yeah, I remember him being solid for a couple of years.
He won 3 World Series with the Yankees, and then I completely forgot about this, was on the 2005 White Sox championship team.
Oh, yeah.
He only appeared in 1 game in relief, gave up in 1 inning, walked 4, and struck out 2, but a 0 ERA. So he struck out 2 and then if you walked 4, you had to have given up 1 run. So there must have been an error in there. All right.
Yeah. Interestingly, he played in the 1990 Goodwill Games. Remember those?
That was a TBS thing.
It was
their answer to the Olympics. Yeah.
I went to most of those baseball games at the Goodwill Games. That was in 1990. And I bought the whole package ticket thing where you just go and you watch baseball and you watch it all day long. And sometimes the games weren't super exciting. Other times you got to see kind of a different style of play. It was pretty fun.
And I bet you saw a lot of guys that got to the majors and you might just not remember having seen them there.
Oh, I'm sure there were. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. I don't see a lot of any pop culture. I see some things that could. No, I guess that's just a divorce decree from Cuba. So I guess he is, in connection with child support case brought by his ex-wife. I remember this. Nobody really knew what his age was.
Yes.
But
Sneaky.
I don't see anything pop culture related, which for some reason, I just thought there might be. But a 3.7 is a pretty good way to start You've had some good players here so far. My card is Gary Sheffield.
Oh,
I will take that. Let's see. Sheffield in this card is with the Dodgers, is who he is pictured with. Got all those pants pulled all the way down. Oh, he's got facial hair. I'll take it. I'll take anything I can get. He's got facial hair. That's it.
There you go. This was right before he played for the Bravos. So
right before he played for who?
For Atlanta.
Beltre? Oh, I'm looking at this and thinking that this is Adrian Beltre.
Well, not quite.
No, you know what? I'm thinking that because they look very similar body wise, the way that Sheffield looks here. I have to assume that's it. I don't know why else I would be thinking of Adrian Beltre. 22 years in the big leagues. Wow. Florida for 6, Dodgers and the Brewers for 4, Yankees for 3, Atlanta, Detroit, and the Padres for 2, and the Mets for 1. Overall, 9-time All-Star. He was on the 97 World Series team, with 5 Silver Slugger awards, and won a batting title with the Padres in 1992. Into no such luck. But it was still a good season. This was his first year in Atlanta. I was right behind him this entire year. 307 average, 404 on base, 512 slug for a 138 OPS plus, 25 home runs, 84 ribs. That's kind of low. 12 stolen bases, and a 4.4 WAR. I don't know. Has Sheffield, I think he did steroids. We're going to see if he's been mentioned, because if he has,
I'm afraid he has.
That would take me down to a 3.9, which is 0.2 of a point above you still.
Okay. He was mentioned in the Mitchell report.
Okay.
And do we subtract points for do not talk about type stuff?
Let's see. Do we? Yes, it's a -1. The dental list has to be, it has to be a penalty.
Yeah.
I'm not done looking at his numbers yet, but I'm going to assume I know about what I'm going to read.
A couple of bad things, yeah.
Let's finish up with this, though. First round draft pick, 6th overall in 1986 by the Brewers. He was involved in some very big trades with a lot of people whose names we know. I'll just go through some of these. Ricky Bonas, Matt Minsky, Jose Valentin. He was traded for Trevor Hoffman, the Padres to the Marlins for Trevor Hoffman. That's how Hoffman got to San Diego. And then he was part of that big deal where he was traded by the Marlins with Bobby Bonilla, Jim Eisenreich, and Charles Johnson to the Dodgers for Mike Piazza and Todd Zeile. And then he was traded by the Dodgers to the Braves for Brian Jordan and Odalis Perez.
Wow.
So those are some very big names.
No doubt.
That he's been involved in. I don't even want to read what Sheffield's done. I don't care for the man, and he's made me lose this round, too.
He's come back to haunt you again.
His on-field presence was great that year, but the other stuff, yeah. All right. You're up 2-0 so far.
Wow. The Mark A. Johnston team has come around.
Yeah. Well, here's a guy that I get confused with another guy again with the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's Tony Womack.
Oh, sure.
Let's see. This is a picture from spring training. I think he's got no eye black. I'll give you facial hair there. Oh, no. Tell me that's not so. I can see his uniform number on his batting glove. So that'll be, you'll get 2/10 of a point for the facial hair and the batting glove number. Overall, Tony Womack, let's see here, 13 years in the big leagues, Arizona and Pittsburgh for 5 each, the Cubs for 2, and then the Cards, Yankees, Rockies, and Reds. In 2002 with Arizona, hit .271, 325 on base, 353 slug for a 71 OPS plus, 5 home runs, 57 ribs, 29 stolen bases, and a WAR of .5.
Okay, 0.5. It could be a winner.
Oh, it certainly could be. It's definitely your lowest score of the day, but could be. Let's see here. Not mentioned in any trades of note. I'm afraid to see if there's any. It's not the pop culture so much I worry about. It's the off the field stuff, but I don't see anything.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. All right. That'll keep you at a .7, and you will be going up for me. I've got hope. Santi, help me. It's Benito Santiago.
Yeah, solid player. We've talked about him before. Just a guy that you want behind the plate for sure.
Throwing out guys from his knees.
That's right.
Like, he was the prototypical, before Ivan Rodriguez, for me, he was the prototypical defensive catcher with a
Absolutely.
gun.
Yes.
And that great Sports Illustrated cover that the photographer is up on a ladder above him and he's tossing his mask and looking straight up. Just a great shot.
Absolutely.
Here he is with a team you often think of when you think of Benito Santiago, the San Francisco Giants.
Oh, right. The San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. So he's got facial hair and he's got glasses on, some sunglasses, the wraparound. So there's my 0.2 of a point to equal out yours. Overall, 20 years for a catcher for Benito Santiago. Wow. 7 with the Padres, 3 with the Giants, 2 with the Fish, Reds, and Blue Jays, 1 apiece for Philadelphia, the Cubs, the Royals, and Pittsburgh. He's a good grid guy. I never think of him in the grid.
Sure, yeah. He's played for a ton of teams.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good news for me. 2002, at age 37, he becomes an all-star for the 5th time in his career. And the first time in 10 years, since 1992.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that right there will take me up to 0.7 and tie you right off the bat. He had 278, 315 on base, 450 slug for a 103 OPS plus. He had 16 home runs, 74 ribs, 4 stolen bases. Why not? For a 2.7 WAR. So unless he's not gonna minus 2 points. So I feel comfortable here.
He was mentioned in the Mitchell report, though.
Oh, Santi. Okay, but that's still not going to take me down that far. I'll get on the board. All right, so it's 2-1. We play on. I thought I was going to get swept.
No, I thought so too. Oh,
all right, Mark, your next card is Todd Hollinsworth.
okay.
I like when we do the 2000s because we get some names we haven't talked about. And I certainly remember Todd Hollinsworth, I think with the Cardinals more than anybody for me. His card here, though, is with the Rangers, and there is a butt kiss that's going to help you out here on this card. His pants are so long that they're bunching at the bottom. If he wears a length, 36, these are 42 pants. They are so long. I'm embarrassed for him. You know what I might do? I might take him a 0.1 of a point away for that.
For those ugly pants.
I mean, come on, Todd. I can't believe his mom would let him go out like that. That's awful. Rookie of the year for the Dodgers in 1996.
That was when they had all those rookie of the year in a row. You remember that? Yeah, here it is. Karros, Piazza, Mondesi, Nomo, Hollinsworth.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I said Cardinals. He never played for the Cardinals. Who am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Cincinnati, probably.
No, definitely not. You're trying to help me out, and I don't. I guess I remember him with the Cubs a bit and the Rockies. That's 5 years of his 12-year career. Dodgers for 6, Colorado for 3, Chicago for 2, and then the Fish, Cleveland, Texas, Cincinnati, and Atlanta for 1. In 2002, split time between the Rockies and the Rangers. Hit 284, 344 on base, 463 slug for a 101 OPS plus. 16 home runs, 64 ribs, 8 stolen bases, and a 1.3 WAR. All right. So that's not bad. It's beatable, but it's not bad.
It's a positive number, and that's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Let's see. Was traded for Gabe Kapler at one point. Really the only big move there. Anything going to hurt or help us? In particular.
Look like it.
He's married to the sister of former teammate pitcher Matt Herges when they were both on the Dodgers in 2000. They have 4 kids. Congratulations, Todd.
Way to go, dude.
All right, so you got a 1.3. Let's see what I can come up with here. I have got none other than Brian Schneider, the guy whose name I can never remember.
See, this is an easy one for me to remember because I went to school with Brian Schneider.
This is the guy that I tell the story with the Expos that every time he came through, the fun fact on him would be that he went to high school in Atlanta. Let's see, here in this card, it's from spring training, and he's catching, I guess he's warming somebody up in between innings because he does not have his catcher's gear on, but he does have sunglasses on. So I'll get a 1/10 of a point. Do I get an extra 1/10 of a point for him being old school and just not wearing catcher's gear at all to get behind the plate?
Absolutely not.
No. Okay.
But it was a good idea.
It was worth a shot. Here it says he went to high school in Pennsylvania. So I don't know what I saw. It's kids don't do drugs. I'm just telling you. It's
a bad idea, kids.
Where'd you learn it from? From you, Dad.
I learned it from watching you. There's a pop culture reference.
That or a frying pan with an egg in it.
Yes.
Don't do drugs, kids.
This is your brain on drugs with a side of bacon.
All right. 13 years in the big leagues, 8 in Montreal, 3 in Philly, 2 with the Mets in 2002. Ooh. All right. He hit 275, 339 on base, 459 slug for a 106 OPS plus. 5 home runs, 29 ribs, and a WAR of 1.2. Now, if you remember, I have a 1/10 of a point for his sunglasses, which would put me at 1.3, which is what your score was.
And I don't see any negatives.
I think I might need to talk to the commissioner about a minus 1/10 of a point for the pants that your guy was wearing.
Let me point out something here in his bio that I think is worthy of a point. His family currently lives in Jupiter, Florida with their dog, Rookie.
That's great, but I don't even need that. Because if you look further down, you will see in 2015, as part of a job swap documentary for Irish TV, Schneider moved to Kilkenny in Ireland to train and play hurling as a goalkeeper for James Stephens.
Wow. Okay, you got it.
That's going to give me the win. And I love hurling. Hurling is awesome. It's field hockey plus baseball with some ice hockey thrown in. But like the goalposts, there's a goalie like with a soccer net. But on the sides, it goes up all the way like a rugby or a field goal in football. And you get more if you get it past the goalie, but you also get points if you get it through the uprights. And it's a little ball. It's like the size of a cricket ball. And you can swing and hit it with your club, or you can dribble on the turf with it. It's an Irish sport. They have a league. It's as popular as football. It's a great sport. I actually had to do a scoreboard for it because they played a game in Fenway Park a couple of years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah. You can find out more in our hurling podcast, which is called If You're Gonna Hurl, Hurl Into This. Available wherever you're hearing this.
I was going to say it's called I Think I'm Gonna Hurl.
All right. So we're tied at 2 apiece. This is, I'm not going to lie, this is the most fun Wax Pack Hero we've had in a long time. All right. Mark, your next card. This is sudden death here. The winner of this round.
This is it.
Wins
all the
marbles. Thing. Your next card is Todd Jones. Ooh. That could be good. He's going to have facial hair. You know that. This is a posed picture, old-timey posed picture in spring training. He's in the outfield, and he's just leaning towards the camera like he's throwing a pitch, but he would have released the ball long before here. He is throwing a four-seam fastball, though, but he does have the face. I'll even give you 0.2 of a point on the facial hair. He's got that Fu Manchu going.
It's a good one.
He's always got that. Let's see. Todd Jones, Rolaids relief winner 1 year. I'm going to assume that was 2000. Overall, 16 years in the big leagues. 8 for Detroit, 4 for Houston, 2 for Colorado. Fish, Reds, Phillies, Red Sox, and Twins for 1 apiece. In 2002 with Colorado. That's a rough place to be a relief pitcher, and he wasn't even the closer.
Wow.
Let's see. 1-4 record, a 4.7 ERA.
Ugh.
60 games he appeared in. 1 save.
Wow.
1 save.
Save out of 70 games.
Yeah. Let's see. 82 1/3 innings, 84 hits allowed, 73 strikeouts, a 1.02 ERA plus, and a WAR of 0.5.
Again, a positive number.
Yeah, so that's a 0.7 overall. Now, just before we move on to the other stuff, very interesting career for Todd Jones. He starts with Houston, and in his second full year, he kind of assumes the closer role. And from there, he is closing 15, 17, 31, 28, 30, and then leading the league with 42 saves in the year 2000 for Detroit when he was an all-star. Then the next year, he was traded from Detroit to Minnesota. He had 13 saves overall. Then he was relegated to the bullpen, not to the bullpen, but to middle relief for a couple of years until 2005 with the Marlins. He saves 40 at age 37. Then he signs with Detroit for 3 years again, and he goes 37, 38, and 18 saves.
Wow.
Retires at age 40. That just a ton of saves, nothing, and then arguably on pace for more saves the last 4 years of his career, 37 through 40.
Interesting. Very interesting career.
Yeah. First round draft pick by the Astros, 1989, 27th overall. Was traded with Doug Brocail and Brian Hunter and Orlando Miller to the Tigers for Brad Ausmus, Jose Lima, CJ Nitkowski, and Darrell Ward. Pretty big trade.
Yeah.
How are we looking pop culture wise? I know he does some TV for Detroit, but anything?
No, I didn't see any movies or anything cool like that.
Yeah, we've talked about him. All this stuff looks familiar. All right, so that is a 0.7 for your card. So you will be going up against, this guy is now a news broadcaster in Atlanta. It's Ron Gant. We got to see what kind of year we got from Ron Gant, because this is from the Padres. This is a great shot. He's at spring training. It looks, his day is ending. It doesn't look like he's leaving a game, but he's got a Padres bag with bats in it over his shoulder as he's walking off. But there is zero in this picture that's going to help me in any way, shape, or form. Gant, overall, 16 years in the big league, 7 with Atlanta, 3 with the Cardinals, 2 with Philadelphia and Oakland, Cincinnati, San Diego, Colorado, and the Anaheim Angels for 1 apiece. In 2002, his penultimate season with the Padres, not bad, at age 37. We got some old guys here in this final round. Hit 262, 338 on base, 489 slug for a 125 OPS plus. He hit 18 home runs, 59 ribs, 4 stolen bases, and a 1.9 WAR, which is currently greater than your 0.7.
Yes, I don't think we're going to go any other direction.
No. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, and he's a news broadcaster, so I got the pop culture reference.
That's definitely pop culture.
Was traded for Ricky Bottalico at one point.
This is kind of funny. Or not funny, but interesting. Gant and his wife assisted the Office of the Attorney General of Georgia in setting up a sting operation, which resulted in the arrest of 6 people for the charges related to mortgage fraud.
Yeah, we've talked about
popular crime.
I think we did a little bit deeper dive on that, because I remember we heard that and we're like, what?
Yeah.
I like
amazing.
that Gant was involved in a bar fight with Connie Mack the Fourth.
Yes, I did. Was Connie Mack the Fourth running his mouth again?
He's probably, do you think he was there with his 3-piece suit and a bow tie and a bowler hat on, and Gant was making fun of him and he just had enough and throw down?
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking.
He wasn't arrested for it, so it doesn't count against me.
That's right.
All right, that's a win for me. How excited am I?
I started off hot and then nothing.
Yeah, we're toying with you. We brought it back from the brink.
Rude.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of Wax Packs Heroes. It'll also do it for this episode of Two Strike Noise. Thank you for listening, as always. If you want to get a hold of us, if you've got an answer for that trivia question, or you want to tell us that we suck, you can do it all. It's all in the show notes, or you can just Google Two Strike Noise. It is TWO Strike Noise. Or you can do it the way our forefathers did when they needed to get something from the, what was it, the lower half? What? I'm not, you need to help me with the old timey lingo.
I just remember he's talking about electronic mail, which came around right after the Pony Express was done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was your first job, oddly enough.
Yeah, I
was a stable boy for that.
I like horses. It's okay. It's all good. But yes, you can write to us. Please do. In fact, we're lonely. You can write to us at Two Strike Noise. Spell it out, TWO Strike Noise at gmail.com.
Mark is flooded in to the studio, so please write him. There's
I made some little boats out of the printer paper I have in here.
Strap them to your feet and walk across the water.
I'm racing them around the studio.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
The Lee Guterman studio is infamously known for not having food or heat.
So it's been fun. I hope that my shivering and shaking and stomach growling didn't make it onto I hit mute every chance I could.
Well, I don't know how an email is going to help you out in that situation. But anyway, thank you all very much. I think this is probably going to be our last episode for the year. I will be streaming throughout the rest of the year, though, if you want to. Maybe Mark will join me. Maybe you can do that on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 o'clock Pacific time. I'm on Twitch and YouTube. You can feel free to watch us there. You can watch the VODs as well. You can watch them throughout the day. That's what we do. But thank you for listening. I hope everybody has a safe holiday, and we will see you on the next episode of Two Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day, everyone.